Hello and welcome back to This Week in Bitcoin, brought to you by Relai Private. And what an amazing week it has been. This week we've seen new all-time highs across the whole spectrum. And I mean, I'm talking the euro, ironically, ECB, there we go again, Bitcoin has not failed. Just admit that you're doing a bad job and that people choose Bitcoin over the euro, because that one reached a new all-time high. We've seen a brief all-time high in dollar terms, although that could be down to the spreads and the different pricing models on exchanges. We also saw a little bit of a flash crash, which is to be expected. If this is your first bull run, please don't be scared by this. This is absolutely normal. You have to imagine a lot of people get in the last minute, ride that extreme wave up there. Maybe for the first time in a while, they're making a couple of 10, 20, maybe even 30% of gains in a very short time. And they're obviously cashing out because at this point it's still speculation to them. So you see these corrections, but we've seen that Bitcoin is already recovering again and it's already heading for the new highs. And it's just great to see this kind of enthusiasm and this kind of proof in the market. But there may be a couple of things that drive this price increase, and this is what I want to focus on today. We had news, where I'll start with this flash crash, that wallets who apparently bought or just received Bitcoin for the first time in 2010 have started moving their coins, and people immediately went into like, oh, 2010 holders are selling now. I'm a bit critical in regards to these kind of news, just because we never know finally if they've actually sold. And if someone started hodling in 2010, they've never sold. They're not going to publicly announce this on Twitter because they're probably protecting most of their identity or most of their, at this point also most of their assets, because it's likely that they have more Bitcoin than other people will ever have. And it could just be as simple as that a lot of them actually move their coins from an older setup, let's say a 2010 wallet, which was, very minimal, very bare. No advanced security features there, no hardware wallets, and they might move portions of these coins, portions of these UTXOs into a more secure setup now, maybe a multi-sig, maybe an advanced setup with a multi-sig and different hardware components. There are a couple of things to this, so as long as we don't have final proof, maybe by an OTC desk or by an exchange or even by these people themselves, that they actually sold the coins, I'm always very skeptical. But this could be one of the reasons we've seen this flash crash, plus obviously the investors who came in and sold at the top. This is to be expected. But we've also seen an interesting theory, and it was actually Edward Snowden, yes, that Edward Snowden, who basically showed the middle finger to the military-industrial complex in the States. And he thought he wouldn't be surprised if a nation state actually is accumulating Bitcoin and just stacking sats at this point. And there are a few favorites out there. One is mainly Ukraine, because Ukraine already has a lot of exposure to Bitcoin and other crypto assets as well. It could make sense that I put that on the balance sheet as well to hedge against even worse times than what they're in now. Which I can't fathom if there's worse times than this, but that's a different topic. Some also say Russia. Some are also speculating countries in Asia. But a lot of people are actually sure that in the Middle Eastern part of the world, your Saudi Arabia, your Qatar, your Doha and stuff there, that people are actually accumulating there because you have the Qatar Wealth Fund. It's a huge fund with billions of dollars at this point, probably trillions if he's invested this money properly, that is looking into Bitcoin. They're also looking into Bitcoin mining. We've reported about this earlier this year and a bit later last year in 2023. Where they're thinking of using it as a viable asset compared to something like gold or stocks and bonds. So if you take in this consideration, you take in the fact that obviously we have the ETFs, and this is also now driving a lot of the mainstream narrative, and you have these new all-time highs, it could be that we have seen an aggressive stack pattern by one of these nation states, and we'll just have to wait to see if this theory plays out. So far, I would say we can definitely enjoy the ride up, and yeah, excited for new all-time high because it seems like Bitcoin is not going to stop. And then the second news, kind of regarding with the new all-time highs, is that retail has finally caught up with Bitcoin, and we'll see this on two ends. Number one, Google search trends. They've been dead essentially for the last 8 weeks in regards to Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin, what is Bitcoin. I've also written about this, I think 3 weeks ago at this point, or maybe 4 weeks ago. And you now started seeing these trends picking up. So when the price is reaching new all-time highs, this is when FOMO kicks in. This is when the mainstream media does their job of actually reporting badly about Bitcoin because they still miss some of the basics. Anyone watching from the mainstream media, please reach out. We will take the time to explain these basics to you once and for all, because it's really silly if you still do these mistakes at this point. But this increased attention obviously drives the interest by retail. You start seeing the pickup patterns that they're now searching for these terms. You start seeing that people come back. And we're not only seeing this on Google, we're also seeing this in accounts. We'll see it actually at Relai as well. The increase in the app is constantly going up. People are downloading it. You see a new wave of people coming in. You also see it on other exchanges, and mainly crypto exchanges, where their ranking in the app stores keeps rising. So people are actually using the app again. Maybe for the first time, maybe they just reactivate their accounts, they're leaving reviews, the interest is there, you start picking it up along the everyday life of people, you start hearing it more, you also start seeing it more in advertising. Ironically, actually yesterday, I've seen that someone posted a picture of an eBay ad saying this is better than Bitcoin. So you already see Bitcoin being used as a tool and as a wildly known thing out in society. So the more these kind of things pick up, the more you'll actually see interest, and the more potentially you'll also see user coming into the ecosystem. And last but not least, we're actually helping out with this as well, because we have the goal of onboarding 100,000 plus Europeans onto Lightning, which we will announce next week with our Lightning wallet. The goal is simply, I've used the Lightning wallet for a few weeks now. We want to offer a service in the Relai wallet where people can stack their sats. If they want to use it as a currency, they don't have to do on-chain transactions, which just take longer and are a bit more cumbersome. We want to offer something fast, something simple. This is why the Lightning Network exists. And with Lightning in the Relai wallet, you'll soon be able to use it also as an everyday expenditure. If you want to buy a web service with it, you can. If you want to zap some sats on Nostr or any of these platforms that allow Lightning tips, you can. Or if you just want to go to a conference like a couple of our team did in Madeira, and you want to pay Bitcoin creators, Bitcoin economy partakers in Bitcoin, you can do this as well. So make sure to follow us on social media. We'll announce when it's ready. And yeah, I can say, it's pretty cool if you have already tried it out. And with that, we're at the end of this week in Bitcoin. I hope you liked it. You know the drill. If you got feedback, comments, just want to say hi, leave a comment below, and I'll see you next week for the new episode.